Now we will configure the network storage here in our RHEL7. Now network storage, that means the storage available from through the network or from the network. That means, when in easy word we can say how to configure the shared directory or sharing the data. In Windows we used to share the folder from one machine to other machine. We can do that here in our Linux system also. So in Windows, actually we use the SMB protocol to share the directories, share the data from, share the folders from one server to other server or one machine to other machine. We use SMB protocol. SMB is server message block. Here in Linux machine, if you want to share the data, share the storage from one Linux machine to other Linux machine, so we use NFS. NFS is a network file system. We use network file system to share the directory from one server to other server, one Linux machine to other Linux machine. Okay, now this is our one server, and I will create first one directory here to share. So I will create one directory here under the slash. I will create one directory. I will say that this is my net share, and this is I'm going to be shared. And for that I will put some data here also under the directory. So I will go to the directory, I will put some data, like I will say file 1, file 2, file 3. So I have added some files also in this directory, so that when we share the directory, so we can see the file. We can when we share the directory, so we can see the file from the other side. Okay. Now for sharing the directory we use NFS. NFS is a network file system. It is called network file system. In RHEL7 it works, it uses NFS version 4, and it uses the NFS version 4, but if suppose the client does not support NFS version 4, then it will do what? It will go back, it will automatically switch back to NFS version 3 or 2. But default is what? NFS version 4, it goes for NFS version 4. But if in case the client does not support, then it will go for NFS version 2 or 3. Then for configuring the share or for using the NFS, we need to have a installed package, that is NFS utils. We can check this. I want to see all the packages related to NFS. So the NFS utils, and this is what NFS utils we require. And actually this package is by default installed in most of the system, and if it is not installed, then you should install this NFS utils package. So for sharing the directory by using the NFS, we need to have installed this package, NFS utils. Then the configuration file for this NFS share is under the etc directory. It is exports. It uses this file to share the directories, information about the shared directories. Then the service for the NFS is to manage the NFS. The service is NFS server, NFS-server service. So this is the service which is responsible for managing the NFS shares. Now when you check the status, it is right now is not active, it is disabled. So when you configure the share, so we have to manage this service also, we have to enable the service, and we have to run the service also. Otherwise the clients will not be able to access the share, and we are not able to share the directories. So we have created one directory, and we want to share this directory with the other user or other client, other machines in our network. So very simple, what we have to do, we have to make the entry of that shared directory into our configuration file, that is our exports file under the etc. So we have created this directory here, net share, and we want to share this directory. So what we will do, we will open the configuration file, we will open the exports file from the etc. By default this file contained no entry, it is not having any entry, So we have to create whatever the entry we want, like whatever the directory we want to share, we have to create the entry for that directories. So I'm going to create an entry for my directory, like under the slash I have created net share directory. Then we have to mention that which client IP you want to allow to access the share. Now if you want to allow this to access, you want to allow this share to access from the whole network, then we will mention the network IP slash with subnet mask. And if we want to allow this share to only some particular machine, then we can mention that particular machine's IP here. Like we can create the whole list of IP addresses which we want to give the access. For example, I want to give the access to 19.0.0.2, then comma I want to give access to 19.0.0.10, then I want to give the access to other machines. So I can just create the whole list of all allowed machines. Then we can mention the permissions also for this share directory, which is the share permission. Share permission only be accessed when the user access the file, access the directory from the remote location. So we can manage this permission for the secure for the share also. Like we can give the read write or read only. Like if I want to give only the read only permission, so I will mention read only. That means users will only get the read only access, they will not be able to edit anything. Or if you want to give the read write permission, then you can add the read write also. So you can manage you can manage the IP addresses also. Like suppose I want to give read write to 19.0.0.2, so I will mention like this. Then the next line I will mention other IP address with read only, read write, whatever. Now for first time I will do what? I'm giving the all machines from the network. I'm giving the access for the whole network. And when you mention the network, you will mention the subnet mask also. When you mention only the IP address, so you don't have to mention the subnet mask. And I will give the read write permission to all the users. I will add one more option. I will add one more option as a sync. So it will manage the synchronization between the users, that when the user try to edit the files on this directory, like one user is editing from the other machine, one user is editing from the other machine, so both the data will be synchronized under this directory. So I have used this option also. So right now I'm giving access to the whole network, and I'm giving the access of read write. And then what I will do, I will save the file. Now the service is not running, so we have to start the service, and we have to make sure the service is running always. So we have to make it enable also. So what I will do here, I will use the command systemctl start NFS server service. We can check the status, and now it is running, and without any error it is running properly. Now it is not going to run after the reboot because it is set default, it is set as disable default. So what I will do, I will run the command systemctl enable NFS server service. Now it is going to run every time when your system restarts. So we have configured this. Now we can check that what we have shared. We can check by using the export fs command. It shows that we have shared this directory for all the clients here, all the network. If you want to see in detail, then we can give V option also. Now V for verbose. In verbose it will show you all the options here. We have given this option read write, and also we have given the sync option, but we have not mentioned these all other options. These other options are coming by default. So when we configure it, it comes with these default options already. We have added this option, we have changed this option to read write, but other options are already there and they are default. We can check it by using another command. It is called show mount. Show mount -e. Now it is not giving because of the firewall. it is not giving this because of the firewall. Remember, firewall is on and firewall is not allowing it to access. And if you do it, this show mount command is for the remote access. Actually, when you go to the client side, you can check the share available from the machine, from the server. You can check by using the show mount command. Show mount, and then you will mention the IP address of that system, and it will show you that what share you have available on that particular system. So right now I'm giving my own IP address to see what is available. So it is showing this directory is available, and it is available for this whole network. We can do this from the client side also, but because of the firewall you will get this error from the remote side. Let's check it from the remote side. I will go to the client machine now. Now this is our client machine. First we will make sure that we are connected to server. We are connected. Then from the client side, client machine, on the client side, the user first want to know that what are the share folders available on server, and for that they will use this show mount command, show mount -e, and they will mention the IP address of server to check what are the share directories available, and it will get the error for RPC, and it is getting the error saying that no route to host, and this is because of the firewall. So we have to make sure the firewall is allowing the NFS access, and for that we'll go to firewall and configure the firewall. So for allowing that, we have to allow some services here, and I will use the firewall CMD command to allow that. So I want to add permanently, and that is what add service. I will add first NFS, then RPC bind, and then also mounted. These three services we have to allow from the firewall so that it is going to be accessed by the client. And then finally I will do what? I will reload the firewall, because I have mentioned it is in permanently, so it is not applied. After reloading it is going to apply it. So now it is applied and it is now giving the access. Now we'll go back to client and check whether we are getting the access or not. Now again I will use this show mount command, and this time I will see that the available share on that server. Now when we are in the graphical, when we use it in the graphical like in Windows, what we do, we go to run, or we go to the network browser, and we do what? We give two backslashes, and then we give the IP address of the server, and then it will open the share directories or share folders of that other server. But this is command line. In command line what we do, if we want to access the share folder from the remote server, then what we have to do, we have to mount it here on our local server. So for accessing the share directory, we have to mount it on our local directory here. Just like we mount the partition, we mount the partition on directories, we can mount the share directory on the local directory. So what we do here, we use the command, first I will create the directory here where I am going to mount the network directory, the NFS network directory. So here I will say we can give the same name or we can give the different name, does not matter. I will say this is my local share directory, and here I am going to mount it. Now for mounting it, we will use the command mount with -t. T is for type, so we are using -t as a NFS. I want to mount the NFS share, and then I will mention the network server's IP address, then the directory which we want to mount here. So I want to mount the net share directory, and where I want to mount, so I want to mount into my local share directory. It is not giving any error, that means we have mounted it here. Now we will check our local directory here, local share, and we can see the files which we have created on server. So this is what we have mounted the share directory here in our local directory so that we can use, and this server uses it as if it is own directory, but it is actually not its own directory. It is coming from the other server. It is coming from the other server, Linux 1. It is the easy and fast way in Linux system to share the directory from each other. It can use this Linux 2, it can use this directory as its own directory, and it can share whatever it wants to share here. It can put anything here, and is going to be it is going to be created on the Linux 1 server. Now remember, we have given the rights to edit this. We have given the read write access. Now I will try to create some file inside this directory. So I will go to this local share directory. Remember, when you try to create a file here, that means you are creating the file on the Linux 1 server and on this directory of that Linux 1 server. So I will try to create one file from here. I will say I'm creating this file from Linux 2. So the file name is linux2.txt. Now when I try to do this, it says permission denied. Now why it is saying permission denied? Even I have given the read write access. Now this is because of this directory. Remember what I said, when you create anything here on this directory, this local directory, that means you are not creating here, you are creating on this directory. And to create on this directory, you need to have a permission for it. You need to have the permission to edit anything in this directory, and that is what not available for everyone right now. You can now we can check the permissions, access permissions of this directory on the server Linux on Linux 1 server. So when we check the access permission here on this net share directory, so it says that the directory is created by root user, owner is root, and only root user can do the read write, and all the other users can only do the read access. But we have given the read write on share. You can see the export command. We have given the read write access, but this is a share permission. It is not the local permission. So sharing permission is allowing the users to edit anything, but when they try to edit anything, this local permission is not allowing the users to edit anything, because other users are having only read access. They don't have any read write access. They are not able to edit anything. Now if we want to give the other users edit permissions, so we have to do what? We have to mention the permission here under this local permission. So share permission can be read write, but we have to maintain the local permission also, because under the share permission which we have given here, read write, we have not defined any users. We have not defined that this user will get this permission, this user will get that permission. We have directly given the read write permission to everyone. So we can manage the permission for different users on this local permission, in this local ACL permission. And how we'll do that? We can do that by using the set facl command, and we can give the different permission to different users. But one more thing, that this directory is owned by root user, and root user is having the permission to write. Now who was trying to create the file from that remote server, from that client machine? So when we check here in the client machine, we can see that this is the root user, that is root user who tried to create the file, and root user was having the access on that machine. But root user, when it is trying to create the file here, it is not allowed, because very simple, this root user is a root user of this machine, and that root user is a user of that machine. They are different, even they are having the same UIDs 00, but they are different. This user is from this Linux 2 machine, and that user is of that Linux 1 machine. So basically the NFS do what? It will consider the remote root user as a NFS nobody. It consider it as a NFS nobody. That means nobody, that means anonymous. So it will get the permissions of the other user's permission. So if you want to allow this root user to add the files here, then you have to allow other users to add the files. That means we have to give this other user permission of right to allow that root user to edit anything. Otherwise, we can use setfacl command to give different users a different permissions. So when those users logs into the client machine, they will use the share accordingly. Right now I will do what? I will give the other user permission. I say other user add the right permission on this net share. I have added the other user right permission here. So other users can do the write, and that means the root user can also do the write. So now when you go to the other machine, and now this time when I try to edit anything, it is successfully created. And when you see this, it is created here. But it is not created here, it is created on server. And when you go to server, you can see it is created here. It is created here. But when you see it in detail, so you will see this, that this file is created, but who created the file? So it says NFS nobody. So actually the root user created the file, and it is created by, it is saying it is created by NFS nobody. So it consider the other machine's root user as a NFS nobody anonymous. Now if you don't want to do that, if you want to consider the other machine's root user also root user, then you have to remove this option. There is an option here, it says root squash. So if you want that root user of the other machine can also be treated as a root user, then you have to remove this option. This option is configured by default, it says root squash, so it squashes the root user. And if you don't want this, then you will do what? You will configure no root squash. That means you will add no underscore root underscore squash, like this. Like here it is saying no all squash. That means it is not squashing any other users. So all the other users will work normally, only the root user will be considered as a NFS nobody. So if you don't want this is not secure. So you can still remove this. It is not secure, but we can do that. And if you want to do that, then what we can do, we can add no in front of this. And how we will do that? We will do it from the configuration file. So for doing that, we'll do what? We'll open the configuration file, that is the export file, and in that we will add this no root squash there. So with these options here, we will add one more option here. It says no underscore root underscore squash, and this will do what? It will consider the root user as a root user, whether it is coming from remote machine. Now I have added the new option there. I have changed the option. Now for making this changes update, what we can do, we can restart the service, or we can run this command also. You don't have to restart the whole service. We can run the command export fs -r command to refresh the settings, and then when we check, we can see now it is saying no root squash now. And now what I will do, I will create the file from the remote server again, from the client side. I will create new file again, touch new file. Now when we check this file, who created this file? Now this time I will check who created this new file. So it is saying it is created by the root user. It is not saying that it is created by NFS nobody, because we have removed that option NFS, no root we have removed the root squash. It is not recommended to remove that, but we can do that. Then we have allowed the whole network to access, but we can do what? We can allow separate users separate access also. So for that again we have to change the file. For making the changes, I will do what? I will unmount the share from this client side, and then what? I will make the changes and I will try to mount it again. So I will change the setting from the export file. Now this time I don't want to allow everyone to have access. I will configure this, and I will also remove this root question. So I want to give 19.3, 19.2 read only access. Then I want to give 19.3 read write access. Then those machines which I don't want to give access, I will not IP address of those machine here. Like for example, that other machine IP is 19.2. I will do what? I will remove it. I will give 3 read only and 4 read write. Now I have not added the IP address of that other machine. So it will do what? It will not allow that other machine to access the share. I have updated the configuration. We can check. Now we can see that this IP address is having read only, and this IP address is having read write access. Now when you go to this client again, I have unmounted the share. Now this machine's IP address is what? So this machine's IP address is 19.0.0.2, and this machine's IP address is not mentioned in this list of available allowed IP addresses. So we can see here it is only allowing 19.4 and 19.3. It is not allowing 19.2. Now when I try to mount it here with the same command, it says permission denied. The server, access denied by the server while mounting this. So because the mounting is denied because it is not allowed. So the IP addresses, the client which we don't want to allow, we will not mention the IP addresses of those client. And the client which we want to allow them, we will add the IP addresses of those client into that into the configuration file exports. And also we can manage the access read only or read write. Now I will change the IP address of the system here. NMCLI connection modify this, and I will change this to IPv4 address to 19.0.0.3. Now this 19.0.0.3 IP address is having what access? It is having read only access. Now we have changed the IP address. Now I'll try to mount it again, and I have successfully mounted. Now when I try to create some file inside that directory, I will go to there and I will try to create some file there. It says it is mounted as read only because this IP has read only access. Now I will unmount it again. I will unmount the directory again, and then I will change the IP address. I will change it to 19.4, and now I will try to mount it again. Again I am successful. Now when I try to create something, I can do that because I have read write access. So this is how we can manage the access for the system. Now one more thing, we are doing this mounting from the command line. So when we mount anything from this command line, it is not permanent. It is not permanent because that means when we reboot the system, so this mount will again go. It will not remain there. It will again remove this mount. So for making the permanent mount, we have the two options. We have the option to make it automatically mount, and that we can do it by adding the entry into FS tab. So whenever our system will start, it will automatically mount it for this on this directory. And you can see here what it is saying. This is mounting from this shared directory, it is mounting, and the type it is showing NFS version 4. As I said, it will try to go for NFS version 4 first, and if it is not working, then it will go for automatically 3 or 2. But both the systems we are using is RHEL 7, so both are working on NFS version 4, and it is mounted here. Now to make it permanent, what we will do, we will add the entry into FSTab file. Under etc FSTab file, and we will add the entry for our network share. So here I will add the share which is coming from this server, and the name of the directory is this. Then I want to mount this directory on my local share. Now what is the type? What is the file system? So it is NFS. Then other options I will put it on default. So we have to make this entry here, and now it is become permanent. It will become permanent mount whenever our system boots. It will mount this directory, it will mount this share also. Now before rebooting, we should check the configuration which we made here. We should check the configuration before rebooting it. So what I will do, I will unmount the directory first. Local share is not mounted now. When you check the DFS, it is not mounted. Now what I will do, I will run the command mount-a to refresh the mount table from the FS tab. Without any error, it has mounted it. So we can see it is mounted without error. That means in the configuration file we have configured correctly, and it is now mounting correctly. So this is what the network shared storage we can use by using the NFS protocol. NFS protocol is used to share the directory from Linux machine to Linux machine, and it is the easy and fast way to share the directory, share the data from a Linux machine to Linux machine.